where, as you saw, managed to get the cast iron pipes, this soil pipes, down off the wall. We've got a bunch of options. We can use wire wheels, flat discs, or finally a needle scaler like this. I'm going to try this one first if I can find the right connections for my compressor. Otherwise we'll move on to the flat disc, because that's what I used this morning and it worked pretty well. Believe it or not, these are brand new components which cost an awful lot of money, but they will match in. Now this is a different system of cast iron, but it's a good way for me to transition from the original cast into plastic once it goes into the building. This is to add a toilet on the top floor, but you can see it had a black finish originally, which is a factory finish 2K type paint. I need to strip it really back to bare metal, which is what I've done, and these will get cleaned and we'll prime them and paint them with the same paint that we're using over here. Of course there is another option, which is that we get it sandblasted down the road. Now the benefit of the needle scaler is it doesn't create dust, it comes off in flakes, like so, which are easier to sweep up or vacuum up carefully. If you know anything about lead paint, we don't really want to be sanding or making loads of dust, especially indoors. But I think we are going to have to use the brush wheel, the wire wheel on it. It was at this point when I realised that there really wasn't any point, nor did I have the time to be taking this all the way back to bare metal. A friend of ours does have a blast cleaning facility nearby, but he couldn't do it for a week, and to be quite honest, that paint was so sound and so securely fixed to the bare metal, I'm not sure we would have done a better job, and nor did I really want to be creating any more dust from this grinding than I was already. So this is how we're looking. I've stripped back all the detailed areas because it's this sort of area where all the ribbing part of the cast is, and that detail was just caked over with paint. So instead of taking everything back to the bare paint, which would both be very time consuming but also a bit of a hazard because of all of this old lead paint, what I'm going to do is restore everything from the bare metal where needed. All of this has now been, anything that was loose has been taken off. The rest of it has all been ground off or sanded off, so it's nice and smooth. This is all sound paint and we'll be able to go straight onto this. There's a good chance that this is a linseed type paint anyway, so there shouldn't be any problems there. You can see in here we've got the original primer, which is actually quite a thick coat, so we should still end up with a bit of stepping here, but that's all part and parcel of something that's so old. And these ones are different. This is actually a push fit system, believe it or not, this cast iron. This is, it's called Simple Fit, the range, and it's basically just uses these big EPDM gaskets and a slightly different size pipe, I believe. That said, we're going in with the branch into the old stuff with a rope and sealant instead of rope and lead, and then we'll be able to transfer from the push fit system hopefully to a normal 110 plastic pipe once it goes into the building. Another reason for not getting these completely blast clean back to bare metal is because there's two existing sections up on the wall which just simply can't come down, and they need to be repainted up there. So if I had these really smooth, then it might show up. So it's quite good that these are actually going to be a little bit ropey looking and, well, authentic, let's call it. Right, I think that's the last piece done. I've got paint just about everywhere, including the camera and my phone. But the important bit is that it's on all of the bare metal, everything I ground back, and anything that was showing. Right, we'll leave this. I'm gonna guess we're not gonna be doing anything for the next day or two even, unfortunately. So we'll just have to shut the door and find something else to do. Right, tonight's late night, 11 o'clock at night challenge is to cut and form all of our soakers ready to install up the chimneys, up the stacks either side. So we've got 8 sides to flash against and 8 sets of soakers to do. And this is 210mm wide. And basically what we're going to be doing is just simply folding this in half to form our L-shaped angles. This is what my lead worker has told me to use. So that is what I'm going to do.
At your 8-inch gauge with a 2010 slate, which is what you're using, you want to be using 240 lead. That's a standard size, so I think it's like 9.5 inches wide. You need to cut your soakers at 12 inches long, or 300mm, and then you want to bend your soakers in half.
I feel like we should definitely use an old school measuring stick for this that came in that toolbox we got. I wonder it's not breaking, it's got tape on the back. Right, now we've got our lead cut. I've done about half of it, maybe a little bit more. These are cut to the length. We now just need to fold these up in half and create a nice right angle. I think that's about right. We can just make up a bunch of these, and then tomorrow we'll make sure we get patination oil on the back and on the front, and that means that we won't get all that like lead staining down the slates for years to come. Right, it's 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, but I'm thinking this red oxide primer is now dry enough that we should probably crack on and get at least the first coat. Now while you folks sit there and watch my paint dry, I'll give you a bit of an update on the roof. So as you can see in the bottom corner of the screen, I've managed to finally get these in place. So there'll be a video on the install. It was all fun and games getting those back in, but they're looking really good in place, just need one coat of paint. Also, a whole load of drilling was involved in taking the 110 pipe in and also an extractor out through all those big stone walls. So some dusty goodness coming that way as well. And finally, after such a great response from the LED install video on the bay window, the second part to that will also be coming out next. That will be this weekend's video. And everything is slowly getting there. The last real hurdle is the chimneys and the flashings, step flashings, which I'm trying to do, but the weather is not letting me. Now I'm pretty sure, having used this linseed paint on a lot of stuff now, we probably could have gone straight over that factory black and not had to grind it all off. I mean, it didn't take that long to take off, and at least this way we know what we've got on there. But I've had it on plastic, wood, glass, my phone, the camera. This stuff takes to most things. If I did again, I would probably just clean it and go straight over that other paint. Plus, don't worry, I haven't forgotten, I also have the big reveal of the new guttering that has finally been finished this week. I was doing that bit by bit in the background, so we'll be putting all that together in one big episode shortly. But that's it, thank you for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.